Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Eye. Last episode, we stood outside the tomb on High Street and the lodge on the square. We saw Skull and Bones tap its 15 chosen sons into generational power and traced Freemasonry's ancient guild roots across the Atlantic. Today, we walk through the lodge door itself. Not speculation, not rumor. The documented structure, the rituals, the symbols deliberately embedded in the Republic's currency and capital, and the invisible hierarchy that has quietly steered events for 3 centuries. This is episode 2 of the Veiled Orders, the Square and the Compass. Step inside any Blue Lodge, the foundational 3-degree system that every Mason must complete. The room is symbolic temple, black and white checkered floor representing the duality of human life, pillars of Boaz and Jachin at the entrance, an altar at the center holding the volume of sacred law. You enter blindfolded, a cable tow around your neck, stripped of medals and valuables. The Entered Apprentice degree teaches moral foundations through the tools of the stonemason, the gavel to chip away the vice, the chisel to refine character, the 24-inch gauge to measure time wisely. Pass to the fellow craft and you climb the winding staircase of the liberal arts and sciences. Geometry becomes sacred. The square and compass appear on the altar, tools that teach you to square your actions and circumscribe your desires. Reach the Master Mason degree and the drama peaks. The legend of Hiram Abiff, the master architect murdered for refusing to reveal the secrets. You are raised from a symbolic grave, given the grip of the Master Mason, and sworn to secrecy on penalty of having your throat cut, your tongue torn out, your body buried in the rough sands of the sea. These are not metaphors for the lower degrees, they are binding oaths. But the Blue Lodge is only the public face. Once you are a Master Mason, the real ascent begins through appendant bodies. The York Rite offers additional degrees focused on Christian chivalry and the recovery of the lost word. The Scottish Rite, 30 more degrees, culminating in the 33rd, takes you deeper in esoteric philosophy. Here the rituals grow darker, the lessons more layered. Albert Pike, sovereign Grand Commander of the Scottish Rite's southern jurisdiction in the 19th century, compiled the Rite's philosophical Bible, Morals and Dogma. In its 861 pages, Pike openly describes Masonry as a successor to ancient mystery schools, blending Kabbalah, Gnosticism, and Hermetic tradition. The 33rd degree is not automatic. It is conferred by invitation only. Those who received it are told the lower degrees were veils for the profane. The true work, Pike writes, is the pursuit of light that higher initiates understand as something far older than Christianity. Now look at the symbols they left in plain sight. Take a $1 bill. The reverse shows the unfinished pyramid with the Eye of Providence floating above it. Official histories say the eye represents divine watchfulness over the new nation. Yet the same symbol appears in Masonic tracing boards and lodge art for centuries as the all-seeing eye of the grand architect of the universe. 13 steps on the pyramid match the original colonies and the 13 degrees of the York Rite's royal arc. The Latin Annuit Copitus, he favors our undertakings, and Novus Ordo Seclorum, New Order of the Ages, echo the revolutionary optimism of Masonic founders. Walk the streets of Washington, D.C., the city's original layout, overseen by George Washington himself, a master mason who laid the Capitol cornerstone in full Masonic regalia in 1793, forms a giant compass and square when viewed from above. Pennsylvania Avenue runs like the blade of the compass. The White House and Capitol sit at key geometric points. Masonic cornerstones were laid with corn, wine, and oil, ancient symbols of abundance, and ceremonies repeated at the Washington Monument, the Pentagon, and countless state capitals. 30 of the 39 signers of the Constitution were Masons. Washington, Franklin, Revere, Hancock. The list reads like the membership roll of the early republic. They did not hide their affiliation. They simply never advertised the oath that bound them across party lines and generations. This is the lodge's genius. It never sees power in a coup. It embedded itself in the architecture of the new nation. Lower degree Masons, doctors, lawyers, sheriffs, provide the quiet infrastructure of compliance. Higher degree initiates move into banking, intelligence, and policy. Skull and Bones, founded in 1832, borrowed the skull and crossbones motif and the closed circle loyalty model directly from Masonic tradition, even as it positioned itself in an elite American refinement. The two systems have overlapped in bloodlines and boardrooms ever since. The hierarchy remains invisible by design. A 33rd degree Mason does not outrank a lodge master in public. He simply moves in different rooms. The oaths of mutual aid transcend law, party, and nation. When scandals break, whether Iran-Contra, black budget programs, or the quiet protection networks around compromised elites, the same fraternal handshakes appear in the background. Not because Masonry runs the cartel we mapped earlier, but because it supplies the human glue that holds the apex together. We are not here to paint every Mason as a conspirator. Most brothers join for fellowship, charity, and moral instruction. The vast majority never see beyond the 3rd degree, but the structure was built for those who do. The square and compass are still on the altar, the rituals are still performed, and the symbols are still printed on every dollar you carry. In episode 3, we will follow the bloodlines in the 20th century handoff, how these veiled orders fed directly into the Council on Foreign Relations, the intelligence community, and the modern foundations that still shape policy from the shadows. Until then, look at the money in your wallet. Look at the buildings in your capital. Look at the quiet handshakes in your local courthouse or country club. The lodge is still open. The compass is still drawing circles around power. If the square and compass just came into sharper focus, share it. Light in the lodge is the one thing the orders cannot tolerate. We'll see you behind the wall. This has been The Eye with your host, The Eye. God bless you, and God bless America.